Yo, what is going on, guys? Will Morris here, bringing us a brand new Busch Gardens video. Now, it's been a minute since I made one of these videos because we had the Christmas break where I went and did a bunch of Christmas videos, and we had the wrap up of 2023. So it's been over a month since I've made one of these videos, but it's not for lack of news. No. But now we are back with a lot of brand new information that we have to make a video to go over. A lot of you guys have been in my comments asking me, hey, are you going to talk about the new information regarding the 2025 coaster? Heck yeah, I am. I was just waiting for the new year, wrapping my own head around it, trying to think about it. The night I was actually at Christmas Town was the night that BGWFans released their article about the 2025 coaster. Now, I'm not going to go over the entire article, but I highly recommend you go read the article. So if you're interested after watching this video, I'll link the article down below. Go check out the article because I think it's very important to get a lot of reference because they go in depth. I mean, down to like every centimeter of the track. We're going to kind of do an overview about what the potential of the thing is. We're just going to kind of go over a bunch of things more from a fan point of view rather than let's break it down. And if you guys want me to break it down in video form, I would love to do that too. Just let me know in the comments down below. So, the 2025 coaster. Let's just start off with this. Yeah, my last video was actually about the 2025 attraction, saying is an RMC coaster coming to Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and all signs at that moment in time were pointing to yes, a height waiver had gotten renewed, and it just looked like, okay, it's happening. We were so wrong on so many levels. Of all the possibilities we thought for a coaster, we're wrong. If this leak is true, and typically with BGWFans track record, when you get stuff like this, you can't really argue it because these are officially submitted documents from Busch Gardens to James City County, and that's where a lot of people get their hands on them. What is it, you ask? Another B&M invert, a possible prototype B&M invert. And this would not be the first time a B&M invert is in the park because Alpengeist was a prototype invert, because that zero turn car on the front of the train, that was a prototype, as well as at the time it opened, it was the tallest and I believe the fastest inverted coaster in the world. I'm not sure about the second part, but I know it was the tallest invert coaster in the world. It's not the first time we've seen this, and Alpengeist is my favorite coaster in the park, so the track record is pretty strong for me. And it's also definitely not the second B&M coaster in the park, as there is a few with Griffin, Alpengeist, and Apollo's Chariot. So the three of the like marquee coasters, the award winners, the fan favorites, B&M. So Busch Gardens kind of going back to the old collaboration is kind of a theme going on here. Endless times in my videos, in 2025, that is the 50th anniversary of Busch Gardens, and because they went so out with the 40th anniversary, just couldn't imagine how big they're going to go out with the 50th, thinking that there was going to be this big, massive attraction. While they're spiffing up the park, and while there is an attraction on the way, I wouldn't say it's a big attraction. No. Definitely a family attraction. And Busch Gardens has been on this high recently of adding family rides. You would have Invader, then you have Dark Coaster. The pattern that you had kind of noticed from Busch Gardens was family coaster, or it's like, you know, when you're a kid, you call it the big kid coaster. Family coaster, big kid coaster. Kind of messing up that whole pattern because now we're going from family coaster to another family coaster. And when I first read that, I'm like, are you kidding me? We're supposed to get a 355-foot tall ride, because remember, all this started with the big project where Pantheon and another coaster were actually going to be combined into one. It's going to cross the river. I did a whole history lesson about that in the last video. They did another height waiver for 220 feet, and then the 355-foot waiver came back, and a bunch of fans wrote into James City County asking them to approve the 355-foot waiver, and they eventually did because of the outcry. So it just felt like we had earned this monster coaster, and unfortunately, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. You know, there's so much that has happened from 2019 to now, when all this coaster talk has been kind of jumbled at Busch Gardens. But we all know Busch Gardens has been on a nostalgia kick, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've particularly enjoyed it because I'm a sucker for the old country. I've been pretty outspoken about that, and the fact that they're refurbishing a lot of the original places in the park, and obviously the big refurb of Loch Ness Monster with The Legend Lives On. They're not hiding the fact they're going back and kind of renovating and bringing back the old, because that's what's really working. At first, when reading the article, I'm like, okay, it's looking like it's going to be a 70-foot tall coaster. 70 foot. For Bolton is 88. I'm like, a 70-foot coaster? But then you look at it. and it's an invert. B&M, I think they're working on some type of prototype invert that has swing trains. Okay, that was brought up in the article. It has 2 lift hills. Now, when I read 2 lift hills, I went, are they doing what I think they're doing? I think we'd be dumb to say that this is not a reincarnation of the Big Bad Wolf. The Big Bad Wolf has been a fan favorite for years. I got to ride it once in 2009, once or twice in 2009 before it closed, and it's been a fan favorite where they have constantly sold merch for that. And Drakenfire. It was always like, whatever they do in Oktoberfest Park, it's going to be some type of reimagining of Drakenfire. If I had to give you my 2 cents, I think we are getting a Big Bad Wolf reincarnation. Now, do I think it's going to be called a Big Bad Wolf? I don't think so. You wouldn't call it that if it's not in the same location, not the same layout. I would say it will either be a derivative of the Big Bad Wolf or a sequel. We've seen theme parks do sequels. Technically, Dark Coaster is a sequel to Curse of Dark Castle, because in the blueprints you see where there's a chance that they might be building a village again. Because if you remember on Big Bad Wolf, there was a village you would swing through. Now, this sounds awesome. You're probably like, yes, we're getting a Big Bad Wolf. Here's the downsides. Let's talk about the downsides, and then we'll go to the good sides. A lot of the fan outcry, the fans that really rallied together to fight for this 355-foot tall height waiver, all their work kind of goes out the window, which sucks. And to go further than that, a lot of the theme park communities and roller coaster gurus were very hyped because everyone kind of knew about this coaster that was coming to Busch Gardens. This was not going to be like, oh, this coaster's going to put them on the map. No, they were on the map. Pantheon put them even more on the map. This was just going to be like, Busch Gardens is about to have a Hall of Fame lineup of coasters. And I think that's the big kicker, is potential that is left on the table. And the reason I say it's left on the table is because another downside is the track pretty much consumes Oktoberfest Park. It's not nestled in its own little corner. And while it seems like it's going to be a pretty quick coaster, the outline of the coaster just kind of spreads all over the place. We've always expected a new land coming in that section. New rides, new restaurants. It's not looking likely. It's looking like it's just going to be an Oktoberfest just extended, which is a terrible idea because the loading station will be Drakenfire's old loading station. That is not a quick walk from Oktoberfest there. And you cannot just put carnival games and fill up the space doing that. It's not going to work. The fans aren't going to buy it. And you imagine if it's going to be a Big Bad Wolf reincarnation, you're probably going to stay German. The Big Bad Wolf is not confined to German lore. It's just the Busch Gardens Big Bad Wolf is known for being in Germany in Oktoberfest. You would imagine they might keep the theme going. It might be initially extension of Oktoberfest, but down the line, I'm going to hold out hopes that it's still going to become a new hamlet, and that whatever name they give it is a name that can live with a different country being there. It's a lot of open space. I think it's so much potential for a brand new restaurant, new smaller rides for the family, maybe a new water ride, some new thrill rides that Busch Gardens doesn't have currently. And I think that's where the upside is you're officially expanding into Oktoberfest Park. So that opens up the door for so much. It's just you hope that the track outline isn't as spread out as it's seeming it's going to be. Now, it's not like this is the last piece of land Busch Gardens has access to, and if they don't do something with this, we're not going to get anything new. No, Busch Gardens has a lot of land that they can work on. This was just like a Pandora's box of things that they haven't done yet. And with this coaster, it's kind of like, here's Pandora's box. I'm not trying to be a downer about it. The upside is we're getting the Big Bad Wolf back. Now, I've always wanted the Big Bad Wolf to return in some type of capacity. So this is a dream come true because it was my first big kid coaster. And I've always held that coaster in such high regard. And I was sad to see it go before I really realized how important it was to the park. So to see it coming back in some type of way is really exciting. And even if it is not Big Bad Wolf, so I'm holding out hope that it is a Big Bad Wolf themed coaster. I hope it's red. Knowing that B&M is working on this prototype invert train that possibly will swing back and forth, it just seems like all the dominoes are falling in favor of Big Bad Wolf coming back, which is exciting. It's a great piece of Busch Gardens lore. I hold it in the same regard with the train, the Rhine River, Loch Ness Monster, these day one things. Even though Big Bad Wolf wasn't day one, nor was Loch Ness, they feel like day one. When you think of the old country of Busch Gardens, you think of Big Bad Wolf and Loch Ness Monster. And so I think Busch Gardens realizes that too. And they're using nostalgia bait. Nostalgia bait is not bad if you come through and you are successful. So that's where we sit and wait. As a roller coaster enthusiast, it does burn a little bit that we're not getting that 355-foot coaster. coaster, which I understand. For the 50th, you're trying to get as many families in the park as you can. You need the help with moving family and capacity. I understand what you're doing, but it's also like, how many trains would you be able to run on this track? And just knowing all the ideas that were out there for this plot of land, for this coaster, and for this to be kind of out of left field, I don't think we have to wait too long before we get new information, because the park president did hint at another possible town meeting in March, where I think they would probably formally announce this coaster, because I'd imagine if they plan on doing this in 2025, construction does need to start pretty soon. And the one thing that kind of made me unsure about the RMC for 2025, it takes a long time to build a coaster like that, and they hadn't started. That was kind of, I was like, it still looks like an RMC coaster was going to be going there, but the signs weren't pointing in that direction. And now you're asking, do I think an RMC coaster is still going to come to Busch Gardens? I think it will. I think Iron Gwazi is too much of a hit, but I think there's some financial stuff SeaWorld is working out with RMC regarding Iron Gwazi, and I think that needs to get settled and taken care of, and then probably want to take a little breather after that before they go all in on another RMC in Williamsburg. But I do think for you fans that wanted an RMC and are kind of bummed out that it seems like we're not getting one, don't get bummed out. I still believe it's coming. It's just going to be later down the line. Just got to be a little bit more patient. But we've been waiting 5 years for this new ride, so I think as Busch Gardens fans, we know patience. We had to wait so many years to ride Pantheon too, so just be patient. I think that will still come. I think there's just a lot of cool things Busch Gardens is working on. Truly, and I said that the Pandora's box for that Oktoberfest park was kind of thrown out the window. I think this 70-foot inverted coaster, a hint at a Pandora's box that is being opened. Now, it might not be the one we thought. I think it might be brand new thrill rides, because remember, Da Vinci's Cradle closed, Mock Tower closed. A couple of big things closed, and they've got to put things in those spots because of capacity. I always say capacity is what drives a park. You got to move capacity, because the more capacity you get, the more people you get in, the more people, the more tickets, the more money. I know this is not the exciting, world-breaking coaster that we thought it was going to be. It's just going to be a very fun family coaster. What I know from Busch Gardens and other parks I've been to, a family coaster is fun if you make it fun. It sounds redundant, but it's true. You make it fun, it'll be fun. It's all in how the execution is. So we can look at the numbers, we can look at the stats and be like, this doesn't look good. This is not what we wanted. The optics about how they're going to treat Oktoberfest Park, I'm not sure about. Patience and trust. If there's anything I've learned over the past year with Busch Gardens, it's just trust them. They've done very good. Had they done perfect? Absolutely not. So hold out trust, have some patience. I think we're going to learn a lot more about what is actually happening at Busch Gardens, because this is not going to be the only thing for the 50th. I can promise you that. I don't know anything. Busch Gardens loves going out for anniversaries, so they're going to make the 50th a big one. I think this is just the first domino to fall in what is coming in 2025. Excited for a Big Bad Wolf return, because this is just a Busch Gardens legend that is finding a new home in the park. Possibly. We don't know. But we can heavily assume. At the end of the day, it's a new coaster in the park. And last thing I will say, Busch Gardens is a one-day park. You can make it 2 days and spread yourself out more, but it is a one-day park. Busch Gardens, if anything, has shown over the past few years with all these additions, they are making themselves a 2-day park, and they want to make themselves a 2-day park. So that's why I say Pandora's box has just been opened. Where one Pandora's box got closed and thrown out the door, another one has been opened. So like I said, patience and trust, and every announcement and every speculation that comes regarding the 50th, you will find here on this channel. To make sure you're here for all that news, make sure to subscribe down below. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed. Make sure to hit that bell button down below so you're notified every single time I upload a brand new video to the channel. Make sure to go and leave your comments down below about what you think about this possible reincarnation about the Big Bad Wolf and this new coaster. Do you think it's going to be a Big Bad Wolf, or do you think it's going to be a whole different theme? Do you like the layout of the coaster, or do you not like the layout of the coaster? Let me know. Love to have some conversations down below in the comments. Make sure to go stream my song Blue Sweater and all the 2023 singles. New music coming very soon. My name is Will Morris, and I'm out. Peace. With my blue sweater.